everyone, how's it going? My name is Jordan, also known as Scraps, and today I'll be teaching you how to layer your drums. Now let's say you have a patch already here. For example, I have a drum loop right here, and it's 4 on the floor, so every fourth you'll hear the kick. And I've decided to layer that with my own drums to make it stand out more. Because there's only so much I can do with compression and punching up the sound until it starts to sound a little bit too dramatic and too squashed. So when layering drums, you want to use a completely different drum rack. Let me see, yeah. So you want to use a different drum rack that has a little bit more characteristics with the one-shots. So that way when you hit the kick, it will be more prompt. And to align it and layer it with another 4 on the floor, it will stand out much. It will be like a punch in the face. It's very, very prompt. So I'll play you with and without the technique for my drums. So this is without. And this is with. So all I'm doing is just layering, figuring out where the kick and the snare are. So every kick is on every fourth. So there's a fourth, here's a fourth, and then the snare. So this is a little bit difficult to teach in Reason, although I'll be teaching one in Ableton right after this video. So if you work better in Ableton, I would suggest skipping this video unless you want to learn more about Reason. So I think we'll get started. So I'm going to create a new document, and I'm not going to drag down my sequencer just yet. We still need to, I guess I can shrink it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to control click, and I'm going to go to my utilities and create a combinator. Then I'm going to right click inside this combinator and create a Dr. Octorex. And I'm going to open up the browser and select a browse loop. So for this, I think it would be better if I used an actual drum loop that came with the set. So I think we'll use a electronic house beat. Yeah, 128 should be good. Okay, this will work just fine. I'm just going to hit copy to track, take off the loop playback, and there we have it. We have our basic loop. I just changed the tempo, that's all I did, to match this tempo. So after this, if I can't get the drums quite right, what I'll do is I'll right click and go to utilities and create another combinator. Inside this combinator, I'm going to go to instruments and choose Kong Drum Designer. Now, what I usually have is a template patch for Nano. And then Nano, it basically turns all the drum cells into NN Nano patches instead of choosing what type of sampler you want. So for this sample, I'm going to choose Kong, should be in Kong patches, sounds, and I'm going to choose a bass drum. This 404 or 404 tight bass. I'm gonna rename this as my kick, and for the next one I'll rename this as my snare, and above us I'll just put in hi-hat. So for my next one, I'm going to go into my Kong patches that's found in the Reason Factory Sound Bank, and I'm going to choose a clap instead of a snare. This clap grind, that'll be perfect. Now for our hi-hat, I'm going to choose, yeah, that shack hat, that works. So now that we have our instruments are ready to go, I'm going to show you how to layer this. So I'm going to zoom in, and I'm going to listen. Actually, what I love to do is just hit select by MIDI and just run the track, so that way it'll show me what parameters, what hits where. Okay, so there's a crash at the top. I'm going to hit my W key to write in a cell all the way here. I'm going to hit Q for a shortcut to go back to my clicker, I don't know, mouse point. Okay, so now that I'm in the cell, there was a kick. So that's at C3 for me. So I'm going to plop in a kick. And I'm actually going to set this to fourths, the quantization. And that was a little bit off. So what I'm going to do is hit S to take it off snap, and then hit S again to put it back on snap. Let's see. So now it's every fourth. So it's every other fourth that I hear this. Yeah. So every other fourth, if you have this patch, it's called Electro House Mr.X 128 Kill the Noise. So that's the drum loop I'm working with. But as you can see, when I play it, it'll scroll through all the MIDI. It will scroll through this waveform and it will show me what's hitting where. So this is also a great visual add. This will help you arrange the drums for the drum parts. So what I'm going to do is just copy this over every fourth. And let's see. Okay, so now that I have it up to 3 bars, what I can do is shrink this and then just duplicate it across. However, what I'm going to do is I'm also going to draw in a snare. Okay. So in this case, a clap. So it's every other fourth for this clap. So now that we have that, I'm going to look for my hi-hat, and that'll hit once every eighth. So I just changed my snapping to eighths, and so I'm going to look to see where the hi-hats hit within this menu. So it's every, let me zoom in a little bit more. There are 2 hi-hats for every hit. So I got to find my hi-hat. Here we go. So I'm going to just draw in a note here. Okay, so it's every 2 notes. Yeah. So let's see. This in there. So I'm just scrolling through now. So there are 2 notes here. Oops. I didn't want to draw it. What can happen a lot of the times is when you click and drag, you can, instead of drawing 2 notes, you can actually draw one larger note. And it doesn't, with hi-hats, it doesn't have to be exact, unless you want it to just sync perfectly. So there are also 2. So now that we have our drums, what I'm going to do is just copy this over. You can do this 2 ways. You can hold Option, just click and drag each one over and over, or you can do Command C, or in this case Control C, and then Command V or Control V if you have a Mac or a PC. So now it syncs up within our drums. So what I can do is for our previous drums, I could show you how to master all this stuff later and make it really pop. I think that'll do it for Drum Tips Volume 1. For the second drum tips, I'm actually going to show you how to shuffle your drums and add kind of a glitch hop type of sound to them. So I'll see you guys tomorrow for that video.